A fan said we shouldn't like Donald Trump. Here's why. Let's let them. It ain't happening. There is going to be no influence. But apparently Ryan Clark, the very racist, weird, self-important, self-promoting ESPN anchor doesn't feel that way. Ryan Clark, who apparently hires a film crew, dresses up and does these incredibly thoughtful, in his mind, videos on public policy or racism or whatever, lets fans affect him. And it's funny to me. I mean, Ryan Clark, pretty tough player, Super Bowl champ, hard hitter. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to let online folk make him look like a weak dumbass? That don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. What are you talking about, Dan? Well, after taking heat online from the woke warriors for saying that he would respect the decision of the American people to elect Donald Trump, ESPN analysts backtrack on all of it. And it's glorious. Saying that he was wrong for saying, I will respect Donald Trump. Now, you're not going to get these 10 minutes back, by the way. Talking this much about Ryan Clark will literally make you dumber. It's like Elizabeth Warren, who said today, well, you know, 2 people running a government efficiency department doesn't seem so efficient. What? That's a job, figuring out government efficiency. That should take 10,000 people. But Trump is doing it in 2, Ramaswamy and Musk. Pretty efficient to me. Anyway, the level of stupid that we're hearing from the left is glorious. And let's get into the sports part of it with Ryan Clark. One of the beautiful things Ryan Clark tweeted out about America is democracy. Okay, many have fought and died. Everybody goes to that when they're trying to get people on their side. They always go to the fought and died for our right to choose our leadership. I was blessed to exercise that right again in 2024. Oh, Ryan, you're so deep. God, Ryan, if this was a coffee house in San Francisco in the 70s, we'd be snapping our fingers, man. The majority has spoken, and Donald Trump is our president. I will respect him and his office as much. Thank God for that. I mean, the election wasn't really over, and the decision to elect Donald Trump wasn't made until some meathead football-playing racist on ESPN announced that he was going to respect Donald Trump. Oh, but there's more before you turn the channel. Oh, no. While Clark's message may have been entirely normal and respectful, social media, we know, is a place of disrespect and dramatic opinions rage supreme. His mentions were flooded with people calling him out for saying that he would respect the president-elect and the Oval Office because for a moment he made the vicious, terrible, awful mistake. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. We all know orange man bad. So here's the backtracking by this dumbass. Right after the election, I posted that I would respect Donald Trump, him, as the president and his office. I've met Ryan Clark. He didn't write any of this. People felt away about that, and I understand an election has never been more divisive, and the country is more split now than it has been in decades. That's a bunch of crap. I mean, anybody that isn't completely one-sided will understand that the country seems to be more united than it has. I mean, the great divider, Obama, man, he split this bad boy on purpose because that's the way he rolled. All right. An election has never been more divisive, and the country has never been more split than it has been in decades. Okay, champ. After 8 years of being represented with class by President Obama, what? Class? I mean, what are you, insane? I mean, look, he didn't get up there and have, I don't know, transvestites taking off their tops on the lawn. He didn't hire a dude in a dress to be our military advisor. He didn't hire a shoplifting dude wearing a red dress with bad lipstick to handle nuclear waste. I mean, I get that by comparison, sure. But you got to understand this is where the racism comes in. Obama, the do-nothing for America president, the man who essentially encouraged cops to be shot. See, white people, they accepted Obama and all the hope and change, which really nothing changed. There was nothing hopeful. And Obama, at the end of his tenure, realized, look, I got to go back to my community. Isn't that what all the African-American folks call it, my community? So he started getting down for the cause. But Obama, please, class my ass. He came out and lied. He exposed his ass over the last month. But anyway, people felt a way about it. That's what I like. I really like. All right. After 8 years of being represented with class by President Obama, the country decided it needed to be great again. Of course it did. Bigotry was now in power. Show it to me. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to say, isn't it? Bigotry. You're a bigot. You're a racist. Why? I mean, all the brothers and sisters went to Donald Trump when he was a Democrat. All the brothers and sisters when they needed money, Jesse Jackson, Oprah. Oh, Rand, you know Reverend Al had his hands in Trump's pocket, but all of a sudden now he's a bigot. Why? Because he's a Republican. Seriously. All of a sudden, he's a bigot. Bigotry was now empowered straight from the Oval Office, but Trump supporters of all colors tell me I'm wrong about him. Really? I mean, I don't know. If you studied, you know you're wrong about him. Why do you need somebody to tell you if you're this thoughtful genius? All right. Since I want good for us, I won't be divisive. I'll stand with my community. See the my community stuff. While working to bring people together. Really? You just called the White House bigots. But you're working to bring people together? I don't understand it. I have a full head of hair. I mean, it's the same thing. You know, he's just lying to you. He's a perfect liberal, this guy. I'm not optimistic because if history is our teacher, I've already learned this lesson. Hopefully he's learned a few lessons too. My God, how arrogant is that? Because his dumbass went from absolutely knowing nothing to learning some lessons. So the lesson Ryan Clark learned was no matter what, because people told me this, I can't think for myself, Trump bad. No matter what, because he's part of my, quote, community, Obama good. You know, it's funny, even liberal TV shows, even Tina Fey-led TV shows, 30 Rock, make fun of Obama. They call him the do-nothing president. I call him the do-nothing for America president. I mean, you got to do something right as the president, but what did he really do? He didn't do nothing. Okay, class, I guess. Big Mike. Big Mike had great arms. Don't you remember that? Every cover of every magazine. Oh, my God, I can't believe her arms. Somehow, some way, Obama went from about $30,000, maybe $100,000, to like $50 million in government. That's class. I think he was on the Nancy Pelosi. Hey, Nancy, who we buying today on the S&P? What are we going with on the stock market? What are we doing, Nancy? Oh, here we go. Next thing you know, boom. These are among the most rotten people in our country. But I get it. You know, for Ryan Clark, you got to represent, quote, my community, which means, hey, man, I'm down with the brothers because the brothers told me Trump's a bad dude. See, smart brothers, smart white dudes think for themselves. Apparently, that's not Ryan Clark, but we knew this. All you got to do is look at Ryan Clark on TV, and you know this is a fraud. This is a made-for-TV guy to the point where not one human being ever has said, I want to see what Ryan Clark has to say about this. So it's just another example of liberal frauds. It's just another example of liberal pandering. If Ryan Clark had any balls, or maybe somebody around him had any balls, they'd say, bro, how do you feel? What do you think? I'm guessing the first tweet that he put out about, hey, he's our president, is how he really felt. But morons in his community made him feel different. Boy, oh boy. Just when you thought liberals couldn't get any weaker, along comes Ryan Clark. Hey, in my city here, we got a brouhaha. We got a kerfuffle. That's right, at quarterback. I think it was the last preseason game, Al Michaels on Amazon, along with Kirk Herbstreit, discussed what would happen if Joe Flacco replaced AR-15 or whatever he's called, Anthony Richardson. And the dumbass liberal writers in Indy laughed at Herbstreit. No chance. Richardson's our quarterback. Well, as Herbie predicted, Richardson struggled and Flacco went in. Flacco not very good. Indianapolis is all up in arms. What are we doing? The NFL is questioning everything about the Colts now. In rides Pat McAfee, former Colt punter, to save the day. McAfee was very critical of Anthony Richardson because most football players, and make no mistake, McAfee is not just a punter. McAfee's a football player. He was a football player that tackled people. He was a football player that made football plays. And Pat understands the locker room. Pat understands tapping out, which is what Richardson did, was not only stupid, but then telling the media the truth that he was tired was dumber yet. And McAfee questioned Richardson. Well, now, as I have said in this city for 6 years, the general manager, Chris Ballard's been there 8. It took me a couple years to figure this out, but he's a total media creation. Some guy named Rosenthal or Rosensteel on NFL Network, as recently as 3 years ago, branded him the best general manager in the NFL despite never winning a division title, never having a home playoff game, and having a losing record. PR is important, people. You see it with Ryan Clark. You see it with Chris Ballard. Well, McAfee had enough, not of Anthony Richardson, but of the Colts and the organization. Here's McAfee talking about professionals in the building.
Colts team fucking sucks. I'm disgusted. Flacco. Everybody wants to put AR in. Hey, listen. Oh, no. AR had no chance with this building that is happening. That is what I've realized over the last 12 hours. I'm wondering why AR's tapping out of games at quarterback. Like, how's this guy not know you can't, as a quarterback, do that? Like, call timeout.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Waste the timeout. Instead of tapping your head and showcasing that whole thing. And, is he getting better? Is he getting worse? Is he in shape? All those things. He's got nobody telling him how he's supposed to operate in that building.
Exactly.
Kenny Moore, our captain, one of my favorite guys on the football team.
Yeah.
After the game comes out and he goes, our team doesn't work.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Everybody's just this is Kenny Moore after the game. The Indianapolis Colts lose to the Buffalo Bills.
I don't think everybody is working as hard as possible.
What?
And obviously it's showing. I'm not the type to sugarcoat it, honestly. If I don't think the urgency is there. I don't think the details are there, so I don't think the effort is there. And I don't see everything correlating from meetings to practice to the games, and it shows.
As one of the leaders.
Okay, all right.
That's not good.
So AR had no idea how he's supposed to be a professional because there's no damn professionals in that building.
Bingo! And if you look around the NFL, I mean, man, many of these buildings have a problem. The Jets seem to be a complete mess. The Bears seem to implode. I mean, they're out of their mind, the Bears. I mean, they're firing guys left and right. Last time was the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. I mean, if you really look around the NFL, and now NFL people like Mike Lombardi are starting to speak out and say this league's become a mess. You tell me about the Jaguars. Everybody said how great Doug Peterson is. Yeah? How's Trevor Lawrence doing these days? The Giants. The Giants have a quarterback that they paid, hey, look, I get the market, but I ain't paying Daniel Jones over the league minimum. That dude can't do nothing. The Carolina Panthers went through what the Colts went through. They brought Bryce Young back, and at least he's won a few games. I can go on and on. Nobody more dysfunctional right now than the Dallas Cowboys, from the owner taking shots at players to players taking shots at coaches. I mean, it's insanity. And the Colts are right in there. I put this on there because this is basically your NFL recap. You want to know what's going on in the NFL? There are organizations and there are shit shows. Organization, I tell you what, even though the Bengals aren't playing great, I still feel like they got a real shot because that organization seems solid. But I'll give you something else. All of the teams that I mentioned, every single one of them have a quarterback problem. I mean, think about it. Aaron Rodgers hasn't played like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, somebody said this yesterday, has sucked the life out of the New York Jets. Daniel Jones is a quarterback problem. You're paying him so much money, and he cannot and never will be worth anything that he's being paid. Of course, the Jaguars I already mentioned. I mean, let's be honest. Trevor Lawrence came in as the next big thing. He sucks. I heard Mike Greenberg yesterday say that, and this is unbelievable, Caleb Williams is the best quarterback prospect talent-wise to ever come in the NFL. What a load of crap. What an absolute load of crap. He's not nearly as good as what Dan Marino was, John Elway was. Not nearly as good as what Andrew Luck came in. I mean, what are we talking about? Andrew Luck took a 2-14 team, and along with some other draft picks that Ryan Grigson made, including T.Y. Hilton and Vic Ballard, turned that to 11-5. No, they all have quarterback problems. It's fascinating. They always say if you don't have a quarterback, you don't really have a team. Well, we're experiencing it in Indy. Ever since Andrew Luck retired 5 years ago, Indy can't get it straight. If you ever wanted to see the NFL abso-freaking-lutely show you how important a quarterback is, just see what's going on. Did I include the Titans? I don't think I did. I think I should. Who? What? Will Levis? Are you crazy? I'm telling you, it's not just the Colts. And McAfee's right, but he's not just right about the Colts. He's right about every team struggling in the NFL. Whew. Better get a quarterback, boys and girls. Remember our guy Connor Stallions? Connor Stallions had tentacles. Connor Stallions this year, when he had a coach on his own, got his ass beat as a high school coach. But, hey, look, in high school, you can only play who shows up at the school. I get it. But here's the deal. The tentacles of Connor Stallions have now extended to Jim McElvain or whatever the hell that sorry-ass dude is. That's a coach at Central Michigan. There's a new investigation in the Connor Stallions saga, and it is a saga. My guy said scandal. Scandal's fine. Noted coach killer Dennis Dodd of CBS Sports says that Central Michigan head coach Jim McElwain is being investigated by the NCAA related to Stallions. Remember, he was on the sidelines during the 2023 season, fully credentialed against Michigan State as a Michigan staffer, and he had those glasses on that you can take pictures and you can take video of. Now, this is awesome. Connor Stallions continues to rock the world of NCAA football. And nobody really cares. Michigan people don't care. We got our championship. Central Michigan, what do they care? Maction, while great, Central Michigan, no. McElvain went from coaching Florida to Central Michigan, and he hadn't done very well. McElvain goes through the investigation as the current Central Michigan head coach, being in the middle of his sixth season in charge. Dodd says if the NCAA determines McElwain was involved in Stallions being on the sideline, there would be a major violation. We were totally unaware of it, McElvain previously said via CBS. I certainly don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. Now, remember, McElvain was on the staff with Jim Harbaugh. It all comes together, and everyone's lying, and I like it. I do not know that his name was on. I do know that his name was on none of the sideline passes that were let out. Michigan itself is still being investigated by the NCAA for the in-person scandal. However, Dodd does report the Michigan and McElwain investigations are separate from one another. Hey, good. Connor Stallions, I don't know how this all happened, but when I watched the documentary on him, that dude went to work. And I would hire Connor Stallions on any staff that I would ever have because that dude's going to go to work. He's going to go the extra mile. If you haven't seen the documentary, I think it's on Netflix. Do yourself a favor and watch it. You'll come away going, damn, man, a lot of people involved, but wow, Stallions went to work. Like harder than any coach, making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and had impact. Whew. Pretty good. I hope Central Michigan takes it right in the Dupayash. I do. What are you doing? Speaking of scandals, Southern Cal, a.k.a. USC. They've been hit with a $50,000 fine and placed on 1-year probation due to a violation of on- and off-the-field coaching activities. After conducting investigations, the NCAA discovered USC had exceeded the permissible amount of coaches, listen to this, by 6. By 6. Huh? 6 is a lot. Like, I know there's a lot of guys on staff, a lot of girls on staff, but by 6? No, that's unbelievable. So, and it was during the 2022 and 2023 season. You know, it is kind of interesting. Remember, USC went through that scandal with Reggie Bush a while back? Seems like it's always the same teams that are getting in trouble. Does. That one was Pete Carroll. This one's Lincoln Riley. But you get my point. It feels like it's always the same people. You know, in the NFL, the criminals are always the same dudes. The pains in the ass are always the same guys. Close your eyes. You can see an idiot wide receiver, whether it's Terrell Owens, CeeDee Lamb, I don't know, Tyreek Hill, acting like idiots on the sideline. No, you can see it. Close them. Oh, there they are. The acting like an idiot, Jamar Chase, on the sideline, well, we know that's going to happen. Here's the deal, though. Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins, remember back week 1, got pulled over speeding outside the stadium, thrown to the ground by the cops. It was a big hullabaloo. I told you at the time, and I'll tell you again, not a chance in hell Tyreek Hill sues. I told you. I had a guy who does this for a living tell me, no damages here. Tyreek Hill, who scored a touchdown in the game, made fun of it by putting his hands behind his back and mimicking the cops. No damage was done to him. Now he's saying there is. This is what he's doing, and he's got a lawyer that's trying to show this. Here's the deal. Miami star receiver Tyreek Hill revealed that he re-aggravated a wrist injury during his controversial Week 1 detainment. Not arrest, detainment by police on his way to the game. Remember, he was stopped, pulled out of the vehicle, put in handcuffs near Hard Rock Stadium ahead of the Dolphins' opening day. And I told you at the time, he ain't suing nothing. Every attorney that I knew said, yeah, he doesn't have anything to stand on. But here's how he does. He's saying he got injured in the fracas, and he re-injured it this week. You go, Tyreek. Yeah, baby. Hey, get that bag, yo. He said it's something that he's really been dealing with all season long. He was telling Lisa Salters. He said it first started in training camp, but then he said it got re-aggravated when he was arrested right before the opening game of the year. Yeah, you did. He said that's where the further damage was done. Tyreek said that he had an MRI, and the MRI showed he had a torn ligament that he said he's been playing through. Hill said, I just really don't know what to do because I've never really been injured before. I'm going to keep playing. Nothing's going to stop me, Lisa Salters reported. Good. And you know what? After the season, that injury, that alleged injury, because I don't believe any of these knuckleheads, that alleged injury is going to be what he bases a lawsuit on. He has no basis for a lawsuit for the detainment. None. No damages, made fun of it. Don't tell me you were mentally hurt. That's a big one in the civil suit community. Now, 2 attorneys told me by doing that whole hands thing, he showed the world that the arrest did not bother him. So you can't come back later unless you got PTSD, right? Which a lot of liberals have with Donald Trump, and I'm digging it. Fox insider Jay Glazer, who famously told me that Frank Reich was, quote, an elite coach, I still can't get over that, came to the defense of Strahan. Michael Strahan, I said it yesterday, stop being the damn police of the national anthem. Michael Strahan, who stood at attention, did not put his hand over his heart, and he caught the ire of you crazy people. Doug Gottlieb, my friend, said it best. When did this start? I think that I said that as well. Stand for the anthem, look at the flag, there you go. Hand over heart. Wasn't that the Pledge of Allegiance in school? I don't know. That's what it was to me. But Jay Glazer, again, who famously said, and I can't get enough of this, very smugly, on Twitter. Frank Reich is an elite coach. Really? I have elite hair. It's the same thing. He came to the defense of his friend Michael Strahan. With no fanfare, I personally saw him donate thousands of dollars of clothes to veterans, including many homeless vets, as well as clothes for veterans to go on job interviews. Yeah. I know these days people want to be angry fast, but maybe first. How is this for a novel idea? Ask him if he's protesting something. When you protest, you want people to know, don't you? He was not. He just got caught up in how beautiful the moment was. I don't buy this. How beautiful the moment was during the anthem and didn't think about it. Ask the dude before forming an angry mob, but also maybe find out all he's done for veterans over the years. No, that's right. I agree with that. No, it's a little bit hard for Joey Bag of Donuts and the rest of us out here to get to Michael Strahan to ask him, but the point is well taken. The easiest thing we do in this world right now is, man, oh man, who we angry at next? Who we pissed off at next? Michael Strahan, we're pissed off at you. You didn't do what we wanted you to do. So we're pissed. We're the police. You must stand at attention, take your hat off. I'm cool. You must put your hand over your heart. You must sing. All right. When did all this start? I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. I used to watch, see if everybody stood. Other than that, I just looked at the flag. I don't know. All of a sudden now we got the police out there. Put your hand over your heart. Don't move. Don't have a hand in the pocket. Stare at the flag and sing. When the hell did this start? Anyway, friend of the show and veteran Nate Boyer chimed in. Nate Boyer is a U.S. Army Green Beret turned NFL player. He is coming to the defense of Michael Strahan after the Pro Football Hall of Famer was accused of disrespecting the American flag during a Veterans Day celebration, something the special ops man said, is nonsense. It's kind of ridiculous, Boyer said, to be completely honest. First of all, Mike has a deep, deep respect for the military. He's done a lot of work in the veteran nonprofit space. He's a military brat, you know. He grew up around this. This is part of his life. All right. Okay. You know, great. I'm with him. This is the dumbest controversy yet. There's a lot of dumb controversies. In fact, even talking about Ryan Clark, it's a dumb controversy because Ryan Clark, like I said, nobody tunes in to see what he has to say. But anyway, good for these guys standing up and stop being what are you, a cop? Stop being a cop. Howard Stern, predictably, is having a hard time with the post-election results. I tried to listen to him the other day, and I couldn't. I did. I always try to listen to him. He is having a hard time processing the overall ass-kicking that he and his liberal buddies got in the 2024 election. Unable to grasp that Kamala was a terrible candidate with zero policies, and instead is now blaming sexist men. Sexist men for Kamala's defeat. No, see, a few years ago, name-calling worked against white males, black males, males. Doesn't work anymore. You know, you used it up. Being called racist or sexist or misogynist, that was all in vogue a couple years ago. Now, what are you going to do? Here's what Stern had to say. She's a fine woman. But at the time when Kamala was chosen by Joe Biden, I said, sadly, I hate to say this because I was a big Hillary Clinton supporter, I don't think America can vote for a woman. I think that's bullshit. I think America can absolutely vote for a woman, but we're not voting for an idiot. We're not. We're not voting for somebody whose only platform is abortion and to tear down others. You know, I got called a Nazi, pissed me off. I got called too many names. So did many Americans. Has nothing to do with whether you got a PP under there or you got a vajayjay under there. It has to do with how you run the campaign and how you relate to the American people, and it's impossible for liberals to understand that. Now, maybe they do deep down in their brain, but externally, publicly, they can't do it. They just can't do it. Maybe they're just stupid. I don't think America can vote for a woman. I say this because I know men. Really? Now, who does Howard Stern really know? Baba Booey? His driver? Who does he really know? He doesn't hang out with anybody. Stays in his mansion on the Hamptons or down in Florida. How does he really know men? I don't know. I know how men talk behind closed doors. I don't even want to say what I heard when she was selected. I'll tell you, idiot, dumbass, unqualified, DEI hire, side piece. I'll do it for you. That's what you heard. Kamala Harris didn't lose this election because she's a woman. Kamala Harris lost the election because she's a moron. Oh, I'm sorry. She had poor economic policies, had no plans to address the southern border, ran a campaign almost exclusively on abortion, and dismissed the needs of the demographic she swore to know best, the working class. Her talking about the working class is the same as Stern talking about knowing men. It's just not there. They just don't. They've been isolated their entire adult lives. Hey, God bless you. You can bitch, whine, and moan, but frankly, doesn't matter. Hey, college basketball had the Champions Classic last night. Kentucky's tough, man. Mark Pope's done a hell of a job. They came back and beat Duke 77-72. Connor Flagg is a real deal. Look, I don't say this very often, certainly about college kids, but Connor Flagg is much-watched TV. He's absolute must-watch television. He is a guy that is so damn good, you don't know what to do with him. You know, he could go on the block and score 30, but you know what? They want to showcase all his abilities, dribble it around, whatever. Man, is he good. But boy, oh boy, is Kentucky good. All you Kentucky fans bitching, whining, and moaning about Mark Pope being the head coach. Whew, Mark Pope's done a hell of a job. Kansas with 72-year-old Hunter Dickinson beat Michigan State. Hunter Dickinson, I think I took a charge on him back in 1984. I think I did. No, seriously. That dude's going to have a hairy back by the time he's done playing college basketball, if he doesn't already. But college basketball is off to a pretty good start last night. It was down in Atlanta, not the greatest place other than Kentucky fans making the trip. But I got to tell you, college basketball every night delivers. I've said it for years. Every single night, college basketball delivers a good game. The best game of the night was my boys at Illinois State, my son's team. They took to the woodshed Ohio University. Now you're saying to me, what does that mean? Well, the Mid-American Conference, a hell of a conference, and Ohio University was picked first in that conference. Illinois State looked good. Hey, if you're going to watch this program, you're going to hear about Illinois State. My son's an assistant coach. They're in their third year. They got to win. And he wins a good one. They move to 2-1. Hey, before we go to break, back this summer, I sat down with Fox Nation to partake in a special thing that they were doing called Field of Valor. I did. It's chronicling extraordinary American athletes who excelled not only in athletics, but were selfless enough to serve their country. Take a listen to my comments that I had on the Admiral, David Robinson, and watch the whole series now on Fox Nation. We all wanted to see how good he was because he was so different coming from the Naval Academy. The way he played, the way he moved, his size, his strength, his skill was absolutely perfect for the NBA.
The San Antonio Spurs used their first-round pick to take David first overall in the 1987 NBA draft, even though he wouldn't be able to start until his service was completed.
The San Antonio Spurs kind of went out on the limb because if he didn't sign with them, that meant he would be available in the next draft for someone else.
I think from the Spurs standpoint, it was the easiest bet that anybody in that organization ever made.
You know, he's a guy that you want to coach because he can listen and learn. He's a guy that you know off the court's going to do all the right things.